Ukraine has warned that Russia plans to attack more countries and expand its war. President Volodymyr Zelensky said Ukraine's neighbor Moldova should be concerned about Russia's latest military strategy. Moldova is home to Transnistria, a breakaway pro-Russian region which borders Ukraine. On Friday, the deputy commander of Russia's Central Military District said its forces want to expand their control of territory westwards. The official told state media, control over the south of Ukraine is another way to Transnistria, where there is also evidence that the Russian-speaking population is being oppressed.
Europe has played a major role in garnering support for Ukraine as it continues to deal with the Russian invasion. However, a new report says that European countries have not been practicing what they preach, as they have been the biggest defaulter. An EU analysis published by The Telegraph reveals that France and Germany armed Russia with $295 million worth of military hardware. This includes bombs, rockets, missiles, and guns. French firms have sent thermal imaging cameras for more than 1,000 Russian tanks. Navigation systems for fighter jets and attack helicopters have also been sent. Now, these weapons were sent to Russia despite an embargo on arms shipments to Moscow. Analysts say that this military hardware is most likely being used against Ukraine.
The third Friday of the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, and more violence at the Al-Aqsa mosque compound. Palestinian protesters, some flying Hamas flags and chanting support for the armed group, threw stones at Israeli forces. They fired rubber bullets and stun grenades, and in a first at the site, dropped tear gas from a drone. Dozens were reported injured. The Israeli government has now banned Jews from accessing the site known to them as the Temple Mount, as in past years, until the end of Ramadan. West Bank Palestinian women and men over 50 allowed through Israeli checkpoints for prayers. But after weeks of violence and years of growing concern among Palestinians about Jewish prayer in the courtyards, this latest tension is not yet over.
The Americans have arrived in the Solomons days after China's significant diplomatic victory here. Two top officials, too late to stop Beijing's deal, but attempting to prevent relations with China from getting too cozy.
This is a sign that the United States is not comfortable with the way Australia has handled the matter so far, and is looking to kind of throw in a bit more muscle into this equation.
The full text of the deal is yet to be made public. It reportedly allows Beijing to send military forces to protect Chinese-built infrastructure, as well as make ship visits, carry out logistical replenishments, and have stopover and transition in Solomon Islands. That language is too vague for the US, which believes it effectively paves the way for the Pacific Island nation to be turned into a Chinese military base.
It's hardly been a secret. The German drifter has been the main suspect in the Madeleine McCann case for 3 years or more, but now it's official. Christian B. is suspected of abducting and killing Madeleine. German prosecutors are leading the investigation, but haven't charged him. The British girl was 3 when she vanished from the family's holiday apartment in Portugal in 2007, 15 years ago. This week, the suspect had visitors to the German prison where he's serving a rape sentence. He was told that Portuguese prosecutors had made him an arguido, a formal suspect. He was questioned for the first time, but refused to answer. Why now? Well, in Portugal, there's a statute of limitations of 15 years on prosecuting serious crimes. The authorities there may want their own trial.
It's the fall from grace of an ex-president tonight in handcuffs. The former president of Honduras, Juan Orlando Hernandez, in the custody of U.S. federal agents, arriving in New York overnight, escorted by drug enforcement agents and taken to the New York courthouse, where he faces charges for drug trafficking and weapons possessions. The ex-president facing a federal judge today in his first court appearance on U.S. soil.
Hernandez is charged with participating in a corrupt and violent drug trafficking conspiracy to facilitate the importation of tons of cocaine into the United States from 2004 to 2022.
At least 6 people were killed and a few others wounded on Friday in Somalia's capital Mogadishu at a restaurant which was hosting police chief and legislators. The government officials were unharmed in the blast, which sparked a fire inside the building, sending smoke into the sky as diners scrambled to safety. The explosion came days after a mortar attack targeted Somalia's parliament during a meeting by newly elected lawmakers. A suicide bomber blew himself up here. I think he was targeting the police chief, but he missed the target, fortunately. No lawmakers were harmed in Monday's assault, which was claimed by Islamist militant group Al-Shabaab that has been waging an insurgency against the central government.
Türkiye is on a mission to deepen relations with Latin America. Foreign Minister Mevlüt Çavuşoğlu is visiting 6 countries in the region. Uruguay, Brazil, Ecuador, Colombia, Panama and Venezuela are on the list. Trade between Türkiye and Latin America registered a record volume of $13 billion last year. Ankara is also looking to increase the number of diplomatic missions and expand its influence across the region. Political analysts also say Latin American countries are showing increasing interest in Türkiye's defense industry. Some of the biggest Turkish defense firms showed up at an international defense fair in Chile this month.